Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Well, the conversation with regard to Tasila Lungu's seat in Chawama is up for conversation again. As you may be aware, from the time that her dad died in June, on June 5th, she has not been in Chawama. Pretty much, she's been around the fracas that has been happening between the Zambian government and also her family. And then at some point, it should have been one of the members of parliament from the UPND side asked the Speaker of the National Assembly to say, was it in order for Tasila Lungu to be absconding from parliament and yet be receiving the benefits that come with the position when she's not representing the people of Chawama and things like that? So pretty much she wanted the Speaker of the National Assembly to nullify her seat and call for fresh elections. Then the Speaker of the National Assembly simply communicated to the Member of Parliament to say, no, not until her father is put to rest, and that's when she will be expected to report back to Parliament. But since then, seems like new details are coming up. Even on this channel, there's a subscriber that I've been having a back and forth with regard to the details of that instruction that came from the Speaker of the National Assembly. Did he say was there an ultimatum, or was it dependent on Edgar Chagalungu's body being buried, whether it be in Zambia or be it in South Africa? And then Chief Etayari has brought up back this conversation. He says, but Speaker, where are we on the issue of Chawama constituency? The people have not been well represented since Tasila Lungu took over that seat. So simply saying, aside from the loss of her father and her being absent from the seat, even prior to that, if you remember, she took a maternity leave the time that she went to give birth in the United States. She should have been out of parliament for, like, if not 4 months, then 3 months there about. And then she was only coming back in the country when the conversation started happening again to say, hey, she's gone beyond the allowed maternity leave period. So Chipetari goes further to say, on July 25th, 2025, Speaker Muti ruled that Ms. Lungu may resume parliamentary duties either 14 days after the burial or within 14 days following the opening of the fifth session of the 13th National Assembly, or risk losing her seat. So those are the two conditions. She said 14 days after the burial of her dad, because this was around the time when it was looking like Edgar Chagolungu's burial was likely to happen in South Africa. So it was supposed to be 14 days after that, or when Parliament reopened, 14 days after Parliament reopened. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the last session of Parliament, the current one that they're sitting in, because Parliament is going to be dissolved either in March or February, they're about, as we head into the general election. So considering both those ultimatums have passed, but it's way past 14 days since the fifth session of the 13th National Assembly started. It is not personal, but a concern for the people of Chawama. Tayari, the public lawyer, the public court of public opinions. So he simply says, hey, let's get more clarity at this point, Speaker. What's the situation with Tasila Lungu? Is she losing her seat? Because both the ultimatums have passed. So I'm pretty sure the Speaker is going to bring up this conversation again, especially if another member of Parliament brings it up, considering the timelines. So let's wait and see how this week plays out with regard to that. While this Thursday has suggested that the minimum qualification for members of Parliament should be raised from grade 12 certificate to university degree. So there's one thing that people say: politics is very addictive. Even if you want to pretend to say, no, I'm no longer active in politics, or I'm no longer interested in politics, eventually you find your way back. Because I remember it should have been last year when the parliamentary seat for Petauke was being recontested after JJ Banda had gone on a self-imposed exile when he ran away from a hospital. There were rumors that Dora was likely to contest that seat. She came to the public and simply stated she had no intentions of ever running for parliamentary seat, at least in Petauke. She had served the people to the best of her ability, and there was no path for her to get back to that journey. But since then, she's been making a lot of political statements. It's either she's got aspirations to run for a higher office than either a minister or member of parliament, or simply just giving her opinion as a Zambian citizen. So neither one of the two is known, but we'll soon find out. So she's giving her opinion with regard to the minimum qualification that is required for those positions. So Dorothy had this to say. So former information minister Dorothy has called for the upgrading of the minimum qualification for members of parliament and councillors from just a mere grade 12 certificate to a university degree. Speaking during an interview on Diamond TV, Siliya said the current education requirement for lawmakers and local government leaders is too low and does not match the level of responsibility that comes with public office. The minimum qualification for a member of parliament and councillor should be raised from a grade 12 certificate to a university degree, said Siliya. The former Petauke lawmaker explained that Zambia needs well-prepared parliamentarians with vast knowledge in making informed decisions, especially in this ever-evolving world. She said the country cannot afford to keep electing leaders who are not ready for the demands of governance. Chance only favors the prepared, she said. Leadership today must be about people who can do the best. We cannot keep experimenting and must send the best that we have forward. Siliya lamented that leadership is no longer just about having the numbers or being outspoken, but about having the right qualifications as much as exposure to understand the national and global issues. Politics builds roads. Politics decides the future of our children. Politics decides if banks will survive and if industries will create jobs. So if the wrong people are making the decisions, the whole country suffers, she said. The former cabinet minister explained that while youths are the future of the country, the age should not make them feel entitled to leadership positions. Instead, she said they should focus on preparing themselves for academically and professionally to be able to to take advantage of opportunities that come a long way. So that's according to Dusty. While the Socialist Party is having some sort of coup within also, pretty much what happened to Patriotic Front with Mao Sampa, there's another guy who's done another thing there. He's challenging Fred Membe for presidency. So Socialist Party fires President Kaunda there, that individual. And then obviously former Patriotic Front President Mao Sampa takes a jab at Kelvin Kunda, saying if the latter failed to perform as a ward councillor, how will we perform as a Republican president? So simply saying this guy who's trying to challenge Fred Membe for presidency within the Socialist Party, if he could not perform as the mayor councillor, what makes him feel is qualified to even take over the leadership of the Socialist Party and further on, if they do win in the 2026 general elections, to even run the country? That's Mao Sampa's opinion there. So this guy pretty much organized a press briefing, which looked like it's just a youth press briefing, and then pretty much did what Mao Sampa had done earlier on, and turned it into some sort of convention and announcement of him as a candidate, a presidential candidate challenging Fred Membe. So according to Emmanuel Mwamba's reports indicate that Kelvin Kunda has converted a press conference into an illegal Socialist Party Congress, and election of a leader is underway. So Socialist Party Youth Chairperson has announced that his intentions to replace Dr. Fred Membe as party leader. He says the party no longer have the confidence in Dr. Fred Membe. Peter Tanda's new Congress party has formally announced its complete withdrawal from the Tonse Alliance. If I'm not mistaken, this guy is the one that was given a seat with the support of the Patriotic Front. They've got a member of parliament that was endorsed by the Patriotic Front through the Tonse Alliance. Now they say they're out of the alliance. I mean, it's politics. They don't see the benefit at this point. So they're going it alone after gaining a parliamentarian through the Tonse Alliance. I don't know how the agreement works out in that sense. No, Tanzania in Zambia, Muti speaker warns against agitating for political unrest in the country and cautioning the political leaders should desist from inciting young people to cause the breach of peace. As Gen Z in Tanzania take over the streets protesting against the Wednesday pause for the third day running. So she says politicians should not incite young people to protest either the upcoming general elections of implicating the situation that has happened in Tanzania. Whilst the news digger says ERB approves ESCO's application to reduce the residential electricity cost. The ERB there notes lower tariffs. That's in the Sunday Times. Police fingered by David Kazadi, filmmaker, accuses officers of leaking his sex tapes to public. So I don't know how that works or who's advising David at this point, because if the last I understood is that his case is still very active in court, so wouldn't this be considered as prejudice for him to be having a conversation around the case that is very active and is a participant in that case? I don't know if he's just trying to play to the guy, trying to clear his name in the public light, in as much as the verdict is yet to be passed. Everyone's got the choice of how they handle issues, but I don't think that's the right platform. They should have presented that information in court as opposed to going to on interviews and stating to say the police are likely to be the ones who leaked those sex videos when he handed over his phone allegedly. When the first video leaked. Anyway, let's wait and see how that plays out, but I don't think that's the right move he's making there. But he's got the privilege to make his own decisions, but the cost might be dire in this sense.